What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another tier list video. This is going to be your console tier list for the latest Paladins patch, the RWBY patch, RWBY. Just went live about like 3 days ago, at least when I'm recording this. You guys will probably be seeing it hopefully later this weekend. But I've been playing the game pretty much non-stop in the majority of the day for the last couple days. Got a pretty good grasp on the game, and I think I'm ready to just sit down and do a tier list for you guys. Not really too many balance changes, and nothing that really mattered too much, apart from maybe like one or two like item store changes, and then a few other things, but like nothing really crazy. But yeah, if you guys like these videos, like the last tier list video we did has almost 200 likes. You guys are absolutely fucking crazy. Thank you guys so much. We'll see if we can get this video to 50 likes within the first 3 days. I know you guys can do it. You guys absolutely crushed the like goal in the last one. We had like 25 likes in like the first day of the last tier list. If you guys hit that like goal, I'll keep bringing you guys these tier list videos. You guys seem to enjoy them, and I really love doing them. Major changes this patch. We got Lilith being put into ranked, so we got a brand new support now in ranked. We got a brand new item store item. Whatever the other item was, it was garbage. Whatever the other one was. We got a new item store, a red tier item called Lethality that gives you movement speed. They added that to the item store now. And then they nerfed Veteran and Haven, or they kind of buffed them slightly, but they nerfed the cost, and they made them cost more. So for a tier 3 of Haven, it's like 1,000 credits now. It's crazy. And then I think like for like a tier 3 of Veteran, it's like 900 something credits. It's crazy. Apart from that, not really too much major balance changes. Nothing really that like breaks the game or like shakes up the game really much anyways. So keep in mind, guys, there's a console tier list. It's going to be for your like average player tier list, all the way from like your lower to mid tier gold, all the way up to like your mid tier diamond games. Kind of. I haven't been in Masters in quite a while, and there really isn't that many people even in Masters anymore. I don't think so. I don't know. At least the majority of the players that play the game that are still left, which is slowly declining, unfortunately, or at least in like your mid tiers. So if you happen to be somebody new as well, feel free to subscribe. I know there's been a lot of new people checking out the game with the RWBY collab and stuff, so feel free to subscribe. Really appreciate it. We do a lot of Paladin stuff. We stream the game. We do stuff like that over here as well. I also have a channel Discord that went live about a week ago. I'll have a link to that in the description, so if you guys have a Discord and you guys want to go check out the channel Discord, go down there. Feel free to join. A lot of cool stuff we're doing over there, and you can just interact with a lot of people from the channel and stuff. That being said, let's hop right into this. You guys know what to do. Subscribe, share the video, and see if we can get to 50 likes in the first 3 days. I'm going to get right into this. SS tier is the stuff that's going to be ban-worthy, that you're going to probably be banning, or like have an option to ban in the majority of your games. It's the stuff that you're going to be wanting to ban. Now, I understand there's only 3 bans, and the 2 bans that mean the most are the 2 bans per side at the start of the match. The third one's kind of just there after 2 people pick on each side. And then we got the S tiers, like the best of the best stuff. Like these are the champions that you're going to want to be picking, and they are the best champions that do their job the best from whatever respective role they are in and whatever they're supposed to be doing. A tiers are above average, A is average, B is below average, C is your kind of like below average, kind of borderline below average, kind of. D is like they have one specific situation you can use them in, otherwise they're really bad. And then F tier, which is the worst champions in the game. Notice how I said champions, because there are more than one now, unfortunately, which is really sad. It's not just Moji anymore, which, spoiler, F tier Moji, there you go. Might as well get that one out of the way to begin with, I guess. I'll get to that when we get there, but let's hop right into this. Also, if somebody wants to throw us timestamps down in the description, if you guys happen to watch the video through the entire time, I'll pin your comment if you want to put timestamps for every champion. We got Androxus. If you guys do not know what changed with Androxus this patch, they actually took Cursed Revolver and actually reworked Cursed Revolver this patch. They made it so you get like tick damage on Cursed Revolver now. It does a little bit, like around about the same amount of damage, but instead of, I think it's like guaranteed accuracy, it's something with like tick damage. All you guys need to know is the new Cursed Revolver that they reworked, it's better at close range and body shots. You actually do way more damage with body shots now than you did last patch. But your weapon actually has, I think, like 20% bloom on your reticle. So your reticle, if you guys know what that is pretty much when you're aiming at somebody. Like every time you shoot, like it'll move and you'll have like a RNG like within your reticle when your reticle like spreads out on your screen. It has that now, so it's kind of a double-edged sword. Like you're doing really good damage, more body shot damage than last patch, and around about the same amount of headshot damage. But like your mid-range, like your mid to long range, you have a little bit less poke because you have a little, I think it's like 20% reticle bloom for whatever reason. I don't know. All you guys need to know is Androxus is still really good. That he is, nothing with him has really changed from last patch. The rework, I don't know what they were trying to do with the rework, but it didn't do anything to make him worse. And if anything, he's probably better, arguably. Some people are going to say he's ban-worthy. I don't think he's worth ban-worthy compared to a lot of the other flanks and other champions in the game right now that you're going to want to waste bans on. But he is really good. If you can play Androxus, just play Curse Revolver, it's really good. Godslayer is okay. Defiant Fist is garbage. I don't know why they just don't buff or rework Defiant Fist. I don't know. But he can be good. He's good on majority of maps. Kind of just like same as last patch. Nothing really changed with him at all. Ashe is A tier. I don't know. Like there's just nothing really about Ashe that makes her above like an average. And I think it was like last time too. I mean, okay damage. Like, if you want to play Ashe, you got to play her as an off-tank. And, like, the problem with her is there's just so many other off-tanks in the game that are just worth playing. She just doesn't really do anything crazy apart from, like, bullying enemy teams. And that's about all she really does. She has a good ult and everything. And she has okay damage. She can be really annoying. But, like, there's nothing crazy about her to put her above an A. Nothing's really changed from last patch. Atlas S tier, one of the best, still one of the best off tanks in the game. Really good. Still a crazy good off tank. Like I said, nothing's really with him has changed either. If you're looking for a really solid off tank, you pick Atlas. He's really good. As long as you know how to play him, and as long as you at least kind of know how to play him, like you have to manage your cooldowns and you got to land your shots and everything on him. Know when to ult, know when to use your abilities at the correct time and stuff like that. He takes a like kind of an average to above average like play skill to actually play him and make him work. But if you can at least play him average, you still do really good with him. He has really good damage numbers. And he's just really annoying to play against and play with. Azan's a weird one. I don't know where I would even really put Azan. I feel like Azan's just really fallen off. I don't know if it's because he's bad or if it's just because people just don't want to play him for whatever reason. I feel like he's always in my ranked games and people just, instead of playing him as an off-tank, they always play him as a solo tank, which you can't really do with him. I think Azan's A+. I think he's fallen down a little bit. He's been in the game now. He was really good. I think he just got over-nerfed the last time they nerfed him for last patch. I thought he was going to be a lot better. He was being picked a lot at the start of last patch, and he was doing really good, and then he kind of just fell off, and he didn't really do much. He can still be really annoying and still be really good. He does have really great damage numbers, and he's still really, really annoying. But I feel like they just kind of over-nerfed Azan because they were just really sick of dealing with him and everybody bitching and complaining about just picking Azan, having to deal with him, and him never being nerfed. They hit him with the ban hammer and even like a bunch of other shit on him that didn't even need to be nerfed. And I think right now he's just kind of above average. He can still be a really good off-tank. Just don't pick Azan as a point tank because you're going to get absolutely destroyed. He is one of the worst point tanks in the game, like alongside Rom and a few other things. He can't withstand anything, and his cooldowns are way too high to play on the point by himself. If you want to play Azan, you play him as an off-tank. It's the only way you really play him. Apart from that, he still can be good, though. I really do love Azan. He's one of my favorite tanks to play. He probably put a lot of, like, a really sour taste in a lot of people's mouths, too, which is unfortunately because they didn't use the PTS and they didn't know how to actually balance him when he got put into the game, and it's kind of a factor of all that. But up next, we got Barrick, the good old engineer.
Engineer? Yeah, I'm engineering my fucking limit!
Where am I going to put Barrick? I'm going to put Barrick in an S tier. Barrick right now, I think he's one of the best tanks in the game. Mainly as like a point tank. Like I think as a point tank, he is just crazy good. He has everything you want out of a tank right now. He has really good, he has self-sustaining loadout cards and in his base kit. He's really squirmy and just be able to get out of dodge and get out of like situations he's not supposed to be in with rocket boots. He has okay mobility for a tank. He has really good damage, really good ult. Like there's just nothing about Barrick that makes him bad, and that's why he's just so good right now. Really good damage with the turrets. Like, his dome shield is great. Even if you want to use forge fire, like, use that. Like, it does a shit ton of damage. He's just everything you want out of a tank right now. I don't know what they would have to do to actually nerf him. Like, I don't think he even really needs a nerf. I think they just need to buff a couple other tanks in the game to be on his level, or give us an entirely new point tank for once, and maybe we'll talk then. But if you guys want a really solid point tank right now, Barrick is the tank. He's insanely good. I can argue I would actually argue even maybe a ban, just because he's just so annoying and so difficult to play against, especially if you have a team of losers and if you're solo queuing ranked. So I don't know. Labamba. Labamba got buffed this patch. I mean, she got buffed, but yet she's still the most buggy champion in the game. I can't put her higher than a C tier. Like, I think I had her B tier last time. I'm going to put her even lower because I don't even think she's as good as this patch. She is so fucking buggy, and it is not even funny. It really isn't. I don't know why they just don't fix her bugs and give her some quality of life changes instead of just fucking buffing her. She would be a really solid champion, and maybe even better than she actually is, if they would just take some time to fix her bugs. All of her abilities are bugged. Her in-hand is bugged. She has a reload bug that still happens, where you're stuck in an infinite reload, and you can't do anything until you die. Half the time you'll throw out abilities, and they'll go on cooldown, but they won't even get thrown out. She tries to throw out her hail of bombs, or whatever, like her fucking grenade fountain is, whatever you call it. That doesn't work. Her ult is still bugged. It doesn't do damage half the time. You'll run it right into somebody directly, and they won't take any damage, and you'll end up getting killed immediately afterwards because it doesn't do damage. Buggiest champion in the game, by far, is Labamba. And they never fixed her reload either. They gave her reload a slightly faster reload, but the one real drawback with Labamba, and if you really want to use her, is you have to stack Deft Hands 3 out of spawn, and you just can't be doing that. Unless you're Dredge, you don't want to be doing that, and her damage numbers aren't on the level of a Dredge, where you can just stack Deft Hands out of spawn if you really want to. She's not a Dredge. If you want a Blaster, you play Dredge, BK, or Drogos. All of which are way less buggy and way better, and do her job way better. At best, Labamba is usually just annoying, and that's about all she really is. She does okay damage numbers, but like, she's really easy to kill, and she's mainly just annoying. Every time I have a Labamba on my rank team, they do nothing but feed, or they're just worthless. And I'm scratching my head and asking just, like, why do we have a Labamba on our team when we could have picked a Drogos, or a Dredge, or a BK, or any other champion that would have actually did something for our team? That's the problem with her. There's no reason to really play her right now, because there's just no reason she should have even been put into the game. And with how buggy she is, you're just wasting your time playing her. If you're a god at her, if you're an absolute god at Labamba and you've played the shit out of her already for however long she's been in the game, by all means pick her up. You can maybe do well with her. But if you're just talking about your average player and like your typical games, she's not worth picking up, and she's just not worth playing at all. One of the most worthless champions and unneeded champions we've ever got in the last 3 to 4 years for the entire game. There's just no reason she should even been put into the game, because she doesn't do anything that we already have with other champions. That's a real problem too. And it seems like they don't care because they never fixed her bugs. It's been 3 patches now since she's been put into the game, and none of her bugs have gotten fixed. So if Hi-Rez doesn't care about Labamba, why should we? Bomb King. Really solid blaster, but the problem is on console, he just gets shredded by the hit scan characters. You gotta be a really, really, really good Bomb King to make him work. He's mainly better on PC. On console, he can be good. I'm putting him in B tier because you just don't see him on console as much, just because, like I said, hit scan's more dominant on console. Just way easier to play. But if you're a god tier Bomb King, you can carry games and still do really good. He's not bad by any means. It's just because mainly on console and it's not PC. Buck got some change this patch. If you guys don't know, they changed all loadout cards, or the majority of loadout cards, if they were killing blows, to actually get a full reset on them. They changed them to eliminations, which Buck actually got, I think, like 2 or 3 of his loadout cards actually got benefits from that as well. I think he's better this patch. I'm going to put him at a B tier. He's a little bit better this patch, but the real thing that's really holding Buck back is his damage. The problem with Buck, and the thing that's always going to be a problem with Buck, is he has no long to mid-range poke. You have to be right in somebody's face to do all your damage, and that is the real problem. he is really good at 1v1s, and if he can 1v1 a lot of shit in the game, apart from the majority of the tanks and stuff. But like apart from that, if you can't 1v1 somebody, you can't single somebody out, or you can't get right in somebody's face to do all your damage quick enough to kill them fast enough, then he just doesn't do anything. That's his real problem. He's really hit or miss, and you have to know what you're doing down to a T to actually make him work. He's a little bit better this patch because you can get a lot more resets with your loadout cards now that they're all on elimination. He's a little bit more better and a little bit more steamrolly, but he still has the real problem of just not being able to do damage apart from like close range. That's what really holds him back compared to a lot of the other flanks that are just way better. Cassie, as a projectile, I think Cassie right now, at least on console, you don't see her play that much, but when you do see her played, I think she is probably the best projectile on console right now. She did get some card reworks. I think Megaton got reworked into a useless card. As bad as it seems, it's not really a nerf to her. Like it didn't really do anything to her, like kit-wise, and what she really does. It just makes one of her best loadout cards into more of like a useless loadout card for no reason. Thanks AOC and whoever complained about Megaton. You guys are great. One of her best cards got reworked into a garbage card, and man, I'm glad we have an AOC and we have a bigger streamers and YouTubers that just feed ideas to the devs that are just garbage. It's real nice. But if you guys really want a projectile damage champion right now, I think the best one on console is Cassie. I think they nerfed her. I think it was her projectile speed or projectile size again too, slightly, but it didn't really matter to the point where it really mattered. So yeah, she is a bit difficult to play, but if you know how to land your shots, just play her a little while, get solid at her, and learn how to play her, and you can do really well. Especially in your lower tier games, like you just need to know how to play her average. Like she kind of just does her own job with how much damage she does. Just land your abilities and burst people down and just do consistent damage, especially in your lower tier games, and you can do really well. Corvus got nerfed this patch. I'm putting Corvus, I don't know. I'm going to put him in A tier. I think he's A tier worthy. He's not as good as last patch. He got a lot of his cards. I don't even know why they nerfed him. Like, if I'm being honest with you guys, I don't even know why he got nerfed. He got a bunch of his cards nerfed, and then they slightly buffed one of his more useless cards. I don't even know why. I think Corvus was the most balanced, like one of the most balanced supports in the game last patch, and then they randomly nerfed him for whatever reason. Just goes to show you they don't know how to balance the game. Which I'll probably say like 10 times or like 20 times during this entire tier list. He's average. He's average. You're not going to prioritize him at all, really, unless you really want to play him. He's okay in double support. He has okay damage, okay ult. His heals kinda are lacking. They're good early game, but after about 5 minutes, they start really falling off. I don't know. I think the real problem with him is there's just a lot better options. There really is. There's a lot better options for supports right now. And you're not going to really be dipping into Corvus and playing Corvus unless you absolutely have to, and in certain situations. Apart from that, he's kind of just average. Dredge, if you want a blaster, it's worth. Dredge is one of the best blasters in the game. I think right beside Drogos. So might as well put Drogos up in S tier too. If you guys want a blaster champion, an AoE blast champion on console, you guys are playing Drogos, and you guys are playing Dredge. Dredge got his ult buffed, I think, for this patch. He got a slightly less pre-fire time on his ult, which is huge. It actually makes a difference as well. You're actually able to be a lot more consistent with your ult, which is huge. And then Drogos got one of his cards changed to an elimination instead of a killing blow card. So now every time he gets an elim, he has his thrusters pretty much, I think, up to like a 75% at a tier 5 on one of his cards. 75% CDR on his thrusters every time he gets an elim. So he can be in the sky with a certain loadout. He can be in the sky pretty much 24/7 now. So I don't know. The real problem with Drogos though is like you have to pick him into a team that actually doesn't have hit scan. And I think the one drawback, like I'd actually think Drogos would even be better this patch if all the hit scans didn't get buffed as well, because we got a lot of other buffs. Victor, Tyra got buffed. Like, there's a lot of other stuff that did get buffed as well that just counter him and check him really well. But I do think in the certain teams that don't have like any hit scan or like have anything to really check you, he can just run the game. He's really good. That's why I'm putting him in S tier. Same with Dredge. Evie got some card reworks, not really reworks, but like changes. I think she got one card reworked, and then she got some card changes from killing blows to elims. Still B tier. If this was PC, I'd probably put her way higher because I know she's way better on PC. But unless you're an absolute EV god, you can carry games. Apart from that, like if you're just your average player, you're better off just playing an easier to play flank because you're going to get so much more value out of those than just playing Eevee. She's not bad, but you just need to have a shit ton of skill and know exactly what you're doing to play her. And that's why I'm always really going to probably put her in B tier, to where she's always really there. Fernando, A+. Fernando, you can play Fernando this patch a little bit more as like an aggressive tank because I think they buffed the internal cooldown on one of his cards. I think it was Hot Pursuit or something. It was one of his cards where he's able to get his fireball back a little bit more with Scorch. It's still not to where it was way back in the day, but I think the one thing that really holds Fernando back, like he has a really good ult, he does really good damage, he does solid damage for a tank, and he can be really annoying. But like the one thing that is holding Fernando back is he's so reliant on his shield. If anybody has at least one brain cell on the team, their DPS is going to pick up Wrecker and just melt his shield as much as possible the entire game. Without a shield, he doesn't really do anything. And that's the kind of drawback to Fernando. If you have like an entire team, at least like 2 DPS on the enemy team to stack Wrecker 2 or Wrecker 3, you become pretty much useless and you just can't really do anything. Furia, one of the best supports in the game right now. S tier. You're gonna be seeing and picking Furia in the majority of your matches, and she also got a new skin, which is an entirely different video because I think the Ruby skins are actually pretty damn bad. But that's an entirely different video. She got a new skin this patch as well, so go play her new White Shani skin this patch. Solar Blessing got buffed this patch. I think it was 2,000. They buffed it back up, I think, either 2,500 or 3,000 health per second. You can actually keep tanks fully sustained now through Cauterize 3, guys. It was like before they nerfed it, like a couple patches ago when they got nerfed down to 2,000. Way better. Really good ult, really good damage, really solid heals. I wouldn't say Exterminate's good. If you play Solo Heal or Furia with Exterminate, you're garbage, and you're just throwing, you deserve to be banned from Ranked. But apart from that, I think Furia is one of the best healers in the game. If Furia is somehow not picked, you pick her, because she is probably the best healer in the game, if not one of the best, apart from like maybe 2 or 3 others. And crazy good. Just with the sheer amount of damage she does, how good her ult is, and how good her heals actually really are as well. Depending on what comp you have as well. Like, you can run Solar Blessing with certain comps like a Jagrith, Rom, or like 2 PV tanks. It's usually when I run it into. Or like Cherish with like a solo tank, like 2-3 DPS or whatever. Next we got Grok. Grok got nerfed. I'm gonna put Grok B tier. The one reason I'm not going to move Grok any higher is because he is garbage as a solo support. He is really bad. Grok sucks as a solo support, but in a double support, he's still really good. You pair him with like a Furia, a Corvus, a Genos, a Ray. I wouldn't say Ray. Ray's garbage now. Genos, like Isle, Lilith, Damba, like any other support in the game apart from like a handful of them. He just does really well. It's so much heals, and either that you just run like Maelstrom into like teams that you're just able to shock pulse off of pretty much anything. If they have like 2 tanks with no shields or like anything, you just farm damage off of. You just farm your ult so fast, you just do so much damage. It's really difficult to play into. If he wasn't a double support, like I'd probably put him at like A+, but as a solo support, which is really holding him back, B tier. If you're a Grok god, though, like, you know how to play him. Like, I know a couple people that actually play Grok really good. Like, he can be better, but just for, like, your average, like, most typical ranked games, you're not really going to want to be picking him, especially as a solo support. Mainly only in a double support comp. And that's about it. Next, we got Grover. You know, Grover is really difficult to tell because, I don't know if you guys realize this patch, but every single bug and every single issue we had in the PTS got brought over to the live patch without anything being fixed, including Grover still having his Deep Roots talent and not being reworked and working how it's supposed to. If you guys don't know, it was supposed to get reworked. They were supposed to rework Deep Roots into like an AoE healing ability when you hit somebody with your Crippling Axe instead of rooting them, and it does not work that way. It's still bugged. There's also a bug with him where you're not able to actually see your own healing radius, which is another quality of life change they were supposed to give us this patch. So it's really difficult to actually gauge where Grover is when the guy is fucking bugged. And he's been bugged for the last 2.5 months in the PTS, and he never got fixed. I don't know how it did not get fixed. I really don't know. If anything, though, I think Grover is worse than he was last patch. From the bit I did play him, I don't think he's as good. I don't know if it's because he's still bugged, because I think Rampant Blooming is also bugged, and it's not giving you like your certain tick heals and a certain burst heal that you're supposed to get with it as well. He's just really bugged right now. It's really difficult to put Grover on this list when the champion is fucking bugged, and the shit from the PTS never got fixed and just got sent right into the live patch. It's hilarious. I don't know. I'm going to put him A tier for now. He might be better. He might be worse. I don't know. But you guys got to bear with me. It's difficult to place a champion and let alone place them on a list when like 90% of the champion is fucking bugged or doesn't work correctly because they didn't change anything and fix anything from the PTS. And that's Hi-Rez's fault. Thanks, Hi-Rez. And that is not the only champion that has problems coming out of the PTS. There are a bunch of other bugs, which I'll talk about probably as we go throughout this list, that didn't get fixed. A lot of shit didn't get fixed from the PTS. It's crazy. Imani, A tier. There's nothing really crazy with Imani right now. I actually think Imani needs to be buffed. I think Imani needs to be buffed because her damage is really lacking. Like, she has okay chip damage, but her ice stance is really lacking. It doesn't feel good to play at all. I think they need to either revert her ice stance or buff the damage on it because the damage just isn't good enough. You can't kill anything that isn't a tank and just like do chip damage with your ice stance. The only time you can actually kill stuff is with your fire stance with like the 1000 damage fireball. And even then it takes kind of long to charge up and when you're 1v1ing somebody. Unless they're below half health, you usually lose the majority of the 1v1s. Unless you know what you're doing. So it's just kind of difficult to play her because she doesn't really do as much damage as a lot of the other champions in the game. Especially with a lot of the hit scans getting their damage buffed for whatever reason. I don't know. She can be good, like she's still insanely fun to play. I love playing Imani. She's still one of my favorite champions. But as like a projectile and as a DPS right now, there's not really much reason to play her over a lot of the other stuff that's higher than her in this list. Inara, A+ tier. The one thing Inara lacks is damage. That is the one thing that she always is going to lack. She can sit and soak up a point. She can soak up healing for days. And she can stand there and just stand on the point or lock down a point or lock down a part of the map or whatever you want her to do. But her one drawback is she doesn't have any damage at all. And you can kind of just walk around by her and she can just shoot at you and you don't have to even worry about it. Because her damage just sucks. I think they need to buff her damage for a tank. I don't know. She can be good. Like I'm not going to put her up above an A+ though because there's a lot better tanks in the game right now. If you want a point tank, like, why would you pick Inara over Barrick? Like, Barrick does everything else. Like, the only thing Barrick doesn't have is Rejuvenate in his base kit to give you more heals, but then you can just buy it from the item shop anyways, so who cares? Up next, we got Io.
Your waifu is trash.
You just call yourself trash? Know your fucking place, trash.
Some people think Io's trash. I can tell you guys right now, she's not. She's probably one of the best healers in the game. Io's really good. I wouldn't say she's broken, but she is probably the best healer in the game, like raw healing wise. She's really good. Goddess Blessing, Lifelink, two of the best talents for her right now. You can have movement speed in your loadout. She has stuns with Luna. The only drawback with Io, and that holds her back over a lot of the other supports, and the one drawback with her is that her ult is just garbage, and it's one of the worst ults in the game. If her ult was better, I think she would probably be like SS tier and like even ban worthy sometimes. But like that's the only thing that's really holding her back. There is really no drawback of just picking Io on like every map you need to support because she can play every single map in the game too really well. If you guys like playing Io like I do, she's my favorite support in the game. Play Io because she's great, crazy good, and she's just really fun to play. One of the best supports in the game right now alongside Furia and maybe one or two others that we'll get to. Really solid right now. If she ain't picked, if Furia's picked, and if IO ain't picked, or if the enemy team has Furia or like one of the others, look at the top tier supports on this list, and those are the best ones you're going to want to be playing. Genos, A+ tier. Wow, how the tables have changed, y'all. It always used to be Corvus, like these last 4 or 5 patches, it always used to be Corvus better than Genos. Corvus got nerfed, Genos has been getting buffed for the last 3-4 patches now. He got his damage on his ult buff this patch up to 2600. He's better than Corvus now. If you guys want a support like Corvus, and you want like something that can just pocket like DPS or like more squishier type teams, you pick Genos. Genos is really good. I don't think Genos is a throw pick at all. I think he can work really well, especially on the maps with no line of sight. He's really good on Bazaar. He's really good on Splitstone. Maps like that where you don't really need line of sight just to heal people, and you can just heal people through walls. People don't understand is the reason why you pick Genos is because you can heal people through walls, which no other support in the game can really do, so. I guess maybe Ray can do it on certain maps, but like apart from that, no other support can really do that. I guess Grover too, technically through walls because it's AoE, but whatever. It's really solid. Just don't play Binary Star. If you pick Binary Star in your ranked games, you're throwing. That is the only way you're throwing with Genos if you play Binary Star, especially as a solo support. But with Luminary as a solo support, you can keep a team fully sustained. You can do pretty damn good. Khan, I'm putting Khan S tier. Really solid off tank right now. Good on almost every single map. He just does his job really well. Nothing with Khan's really changed at all since last patch. Just really solid and does really well. Kanessa, man, how the mighty have fallen. I don't want to do this, guys. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. I don't want to have to put her D tier. I have to put her D. She's fucking garbage. This is what you wanted, everybody. This is what you guys have been asking for over the last 2 months, just bitching and complaining for Kanessa to get nerfed into the ground. And what happened? She got nerfed into the ground. She fucking sucks. If you are losing to Kanessa now, she is only good on one map. I would not play her on Frog Isle anymore. She is good on one map, and that is Fish Market. If you are losing to Kanessa, or if you are struggling versus Kanessa, it is because you are a garbage player and you do not know how to play the game. 100% this time. Because Kanessa fucking sucks. She was never a problem to begin with. She never was. It's because people didn't know how to play the game to begin with, and they would rather just bitch and complain, and then get her nerfed in the ground just like Strix did 2 years ago. And what happened? She got the Strix treatment 2 years later. Man, you might as well match Kanessa and Strix right into the same tier, or even lower than that, because they're a match made in heaven. They really are. Just 2 years apart. Who knew they would be two of the worst champions in the game 2 years later, 2 years apart? And they would both go through the same thing too, where everybody just bitches and complains for 2 patches in a row to get them nerfed, and they just get nerfed into the ground to the point where they're pretty much almost unplayable. Apart from maybe 1 or 2 maps. That's about it. Garbage. Kanessa sucks. Thanks, everybody. One of my favorite champions to play, and I'm sure a lot of other people enjoy playing Kanessa too. Favorite champions to play, nerfed into the ground just because you guys don't know how to play the game, and you guys don't know how to play off tanks or play flanks. And instead of just bitch and complain until they nerf her, I guess. I don't know. I'll never understand. I never will. Koga's really annoying. He is really annoying. I don't know if he's worth an S tier, but man, is he really fucking annoying. The only reason I'm going to put him A+ tier is because I think he does fall off towards your higher tiers of play a little bit more. Man, he's really annoying right now. The one reason I think Koga is really good is because it's really crazy, guys. The new item, Lethality, actually pairs really well and is bought really well on Koga. It works really, really good. If you guys don't know what Lethality does, pretty much what it does, it gives you movement speed for, I think it's 2.5 seconds after getting an elimination. So as long as you're getting elims, you're getting movement speed, and you pair that with adrenaline, or like with his adrenaline junkie, and him being able to zoom around the map to begin with. The guy is just fucking zooms. It is really difficult to lock him down when he constantly has movement speed, and he's already moving fast using energy. So I don't know. He may not be that good on PC, but man, is Koga really annoying to play against on console. He really is. The only time you can actually lock him down is if your entire team focuses him. And if you're trying to play a solo queue ranked match, good luck. He's going to farm your backline, and he's going to farm your entire team, and then your entire team will be dead, and then he'll just farm you afterwards. You may know how to kill him, and you may kill him every time, but he's just going to farm the rest of your team then. Similar to Talus and similar to Sky and a lot of the other flanks. We got Lex. You guys think Lex got nerfed this patch? If you guys think the nerf they gave him, which now you can see if he's marked, like there'll be like a little mark in the corner, or like the left-hand corner of your screen to know if you're marked by Lex now. It doesn't change anything. The real problem with Lex, and I don't understand why nobody fucking gets it, and especially on the dev team or anybody on the AOC, I don't know why they don't get it, but with Discovery, his damage is fucking crazy, especially if you are marked. He has 50% lifesteal in his loadout cards, which is always going to be maxed out on a 5, because that's his best card, which is crazy amount of lifesteal. I don't think any other champion has it in any of their loadout cards at all, if somebody's marked. And then plus you're doing 30% extra damage to whoever you have marked with Discovery. Pretty much you want an easy way to play Lex. You mark somebody and then you just run at them. There you go. It doesn't care if it doesn't matter at all as long as they know that you're going to be running at them. It doesn't do anything. Your damage numbers are still the same, and you can still outtrade them in 1v1s apart from like a tank. If they're a tank, maybe not, but if like anything else, you're usually winning most 1v1s. Between his auto aim and his crazy damage numbers, it's really difficult to play against him. It really is. Especially on console. If you just let him run your game, he just steamrolls and carries games. He is a ban the majority of your games or a pick. If you can pick Lex and you can get Lex, you're going to be winning the majority of your games. Especially your low tier games where players just don't know how to play against anything. And you can just farm against teams and just farm them really quick and really easy. Needs his damage nerfed on Discovery instead of 30% down to like 10%. And then he might be balanced. Until then, he's always going to be a ban worthy and a must pick on console in ranked. Leon, S tier. Got one of her cards changed. It used to be a killing blow, now it's changed to an elim. Now she's able to spam more of like an alacrity type build again. So technically she's better again, even though that kind of got nerfed. Now it's better because one of her cards got changed. Still really good. Leon's still really good. Apart from that, nothing with her's really changed though. Got the newest champion, Lilith. This is an interesting one. I don't think Lilith is crazy. Like I don't think she's like S tier worthy. I really don't. I think she's A+ worthy though. Lilith is what the definition of a balanced support right now. I think it used to be Corvus, but I think right now the most balanced support in the game is Lilith. The only thing she really lacks is damage, and that's the one thing that's kind of holding her back from being a little bit better and probably putting her like S tier. You're just constantly having to heal, and you're constantly having to throw out Swarm, and you're not really able to do much damage in between that because you're always trying to rotate your mark and rotate your Swarm and everything. But apart from that, I think she's the most balanced support in the game right now. Really fun to play, a really cool champion, and she has a really good ult as well, which is really good, really great. If you guys have not played Lilith yet, she is really good, really consistent, and she is a really good pick right now as a support. If Io or Furia are picked, or if one of these is picked and you don't want to play Io or like anything else up in S tier, then I would start looking at like Lilith and some of the stuff in A+ tier and picking some of that because she does do really good heals. Really good heals and really good ult. And really good survivability too. If you know how to play Lilith, you can just survive the entire game. Just because she has so much health and it's pretty difficult to lock her down unless you just kind of focus fire at her. Next we got Maeve. I don't know where I really put Maeve. I want to put Maeve higher, but the real problem with Maeve right now is she just... The stuff she has to pair into and she has to go against in these higher tiers just destroy her. That is the real problem Maeve has. Andro got arguably buffed this patch. You really struggle into Andro. You struggle into Lex. You struggle into Sky. You really struggle into 7 because he got buffed this patch too. Just a lot of the shit, and especially a lot of the hit scans too, now it's even more difficult to kill them because they got their damage buffed. The real problem with Maeve is like everything that she has a bad matchup against, is just better than her or just got buffed this patch, and that's the real problem. If you know how to play Maeve, you can still make her work. Like, she isn't bad at all. She has a really good ult. She has really consistent damage at any range. She has no damage fall off, the same damage numbers at all ranges, which is one thing that nobody else has. Really good mobility. But, like, apart from that, it's just really difficult to play her. It is so fucking difficult to play her into a lot of these other picks right now that are higher in this list. It really is. Unless you're like a god tier Maeve, you're really going to be struggling. Even me, and that's coming from me because Maeve is my most played flank, and she's my most played champion in the game. So I fucking love Maeve, and she's still probably one of the reasons why I still play the game, of being 100% real. And it's even me, I've been finding it's just really difficult to play her. Especially going against Alex that fucking two-shots you with auto-aim and all that other shit. It's crazy. Makoa, nothing really. I actually think Makoa's worse. I really do. I think because all the hit scan got buffed. The guy has a walking hitbox, and he just gets melted even faster than before. He really does. I'm going to put him at its C tier. If you want to play Makoa, you got to be an absolute god right now to play him on console, because all the hit scan that actually is always really good versus him, because he's a walking hitbox, got their damage buffed. And he just gets melted even more so now. So it's even more difficult to play him. If you want to play Makoa, you play him Pluck, and you got to just play him as an off tank. You got to land all your hooks, and you constantly got to pull people in with your hook. If you can't do that, and you don't know what you're doing, don't play Makoa, because you're kind of just trolling and throwing your match. Damba, I think Damba's A tier. Just your average support on console, nothing crazy. You don't see him play it that much, but just because there's a lot of easier to play supports, there's no reason to really play Damba over a lot of the other supports that are higher in this list, especially when they're easier to play and you can just get more value out of playing them. If it was PC, I'd maybe put him higher, but he's not bad by any means. If you know how to play him on console, you can get some good value. He does really good heals, really good utility, really good ult, has the stun on his reload, still really good. He's not bad, but you just don't see him play it enough, and I don't think there's really a reason to play him enough when there's a lot of easier to play supports that just do this job the same, if not better, and just get more value, that are just way easier to play. And you don't have to play a hit scan healer on console. We got Moji. Put Moji in F tier. It's a real shame. How many tier lists do I have to fucking put Moji in F tier before she gets deleted from the game or she gets entirely reworked? How many tier lists now? At least, I don't know, at least 2 years. I've been doing tier lists for 2 years now. At least 2 years. I think every single list I put her at an F tier. Can we please rework Moji or just fucking delete her from the game, please? Gosh. I am sick of having to put her in F tier every single update, please. Such a worthless champion. Octavia got her damage nerfed a little bit. I think she's still really good. I don't think she's a ban worthy this patch, but she is still a top pick worthy. She's still really good. Her damage got nerfed slightly, I think at medium ranges this patch, but she's still incredibly good. Her passives are really good, apart from the shield one. The shield one's pretty bad, especially in Siege, just meaning a TDM one. But all of her other passives are really good. The CDR, the ult charge, the credits. Really consistent damage. She does the majority of the shit you want for a DPS, and she has everything you really want. Solid damage, really okay mobility, really solid ult. She puts check marks on everything you really want. I really want to. Oh my gosh, I really want to put Pip higher. I really do, because I think Pip is such a fucking underrated and just slept on champion in the game, and he's such a fun champion to play. But he's never gonna be played if they keep buffing the hit scans, especially when they did the dispatch. They buffed a lot of the shit that just destroys him. I mean, they nerfed Kanessa, which is good, because he would just get one tapped by Kanessa, which is the only thing that actually is better now. But at the same time, they buffed Victor, Tyra, and I think maybe Vivian too. I just don't understand. And a lot of the flanks just destroy him too. Andro, Lex, Sky. It's just so difficult to play him, and I think the only way you can actually play him is a Catalyst, with Catalyst as an off support, hybrid type flank character, I guess. I don't even know. I don't know. If I were you though, if you want to play Pip, if you know what you're doing, you can get away with him. You just have to be really careful on what team you pick him into. Because if you pick him into a lot of hit scan or like something that just hits you for headshots and instantly deletes you the entire game, you're better off just picking anything else. That's his real problem. He still has a huge hitbox. He just gets melted by everything. I really wish he was better, but like it seems like the devs don't even fucking care about Pip either. The guy hasn't got a skin in 4 years. He has not got a skin since I think it was September or December of 2018 with Pepper. He hasn't got a skin in 4 years, y'all. Justice for Pip. Please give this guy a goddamn skin so people will actually play him and give him some meaningful buffs that'll actually make him good. Please. Such a cool champion and a champion that no other game has, and he's just thrown to the wayside every patch. He really is. Rom got a talent rework. Subservience got reworked now. So if you guys don't know, Subservience now, it's actually a base heal of 2%. And instead of an AoE, it's actually just a base heal onto all your entire team. It's better than it was last patch. Like, I'll put Rom at an A tier because I think if you want to run him into the certain comp, he can work. But the real thing that's really holding Rom back, like a lot of the other champions, is that there's so many other checks to him right now that are just a higher tier than him and way better than him. He gets checked by so much stuff. Khan, Tyra, Cassie, Dredge, Drogos. So much stuff just checks. It's just really difficult to play him into a lot of teams. Unless you like ban certain stuff out or you like build a team around him, which you're not going to really be doing unless you're like 5 stacking in ranked. With a bunch of random losers, that's never going to happen. And he's still good though. Like if you can get away with him, he's still really annoying. He's still really good. Subservience is fun to play, but I think if they want to make Subservience better, they need to make the health and the health he gets from that talent uncauterizable. And if they want to make it cauterizable, they need to increase it up to like 6 or to 8% or something. If not, keep it 2% and then just make it uncauterizable. That way, I think that talent would actually be good. But it's better than what it was, so I can't complain. One of the only good balance changes we got for this entire patch. Ray is garbage. I don't know why they keep nerfing Ray into the ground. The only time you're going to be picking Ray in any team at all is on Bazaar, and that is with focus, and it's because she's really good on Bazaar because her heals go through walls for whatever reason. I don't know why. Apart from that, if you play solo healer Ray on any other map or on any team at all, you are throwing your game, and you deserve to lose. Her heals are garbage. Her damage is garbage. Her ult has been nerfed into the ground to the point where it's just garbage. They nerfed her refreshing break card again for no reason. Every single one of her loadout cards is filler card at best, apart from one, which I think is Magic in the Blood. Every single other card is garbage. Go look at her loadout cards and tell me if they're any good, because they're not. She has no good loadout cards now, apart from one that you can actually run out of 5, that actually is worth running out of 5. The rest are garbage. That is her problem. And then Extension is bad, Restraint is really bad, and the only way you can actually play her to get enough heals and actually keep a team fully sustained is with Focus, and she just doesn't have the healing numbers to do that as a solo support. She can be okay in double support, but even then, like, I'm not going to pick a Ray over a Grok, a Pip, a Damba, a Corvus, like any of these other supports as in double support. Like, I'm sorry. Ray is garbage, and she has just been nerfed in the ground like 2 or 3 patches now, and it's finally getting to the point where she's just terrible. She's just terrible. I feel bad for anybody that likes to play Ray, because you guys just got absolutely shafted these last couple patches for no reason. You're lucky her damage never got nerfed. They almost nerfed her damage too last patch, if you guys don't remember that, but then they finally reverted it last minute during the last patch's PTS before that went to live. Otherwise, she would even be doing less damage right now. It's crazy. Ruckus. I think Ruckus is really solid. I'm going to put Ruckus as an A tier. If you can know what you're doing and you can play Ruckus, you can get away with him. He can be incredibly annoying, and he's actually really good. If you know how to play him, that is. If you don't know what you're doing, don't play him, because you're just going to feed. Salty. Salty got nerfed, guys. Salty got nerfed this patch. They reduced her health by 100. So instead of 2200 health, she has 2100. Wow. That's crazy. She's a must pick or a must ban in the majority of your ranked games. The real reason why is because she's just so annoying to play against. You have to lock her down, and she's just so annoying. And she got a new skin this patch, so if you guys Want to go check it out? She got a new skin. Same with Lilith. I think Lilith got a new skin as well. So, Lake Belladonna. I don't know. I think the one thing you do now to actually nerf Salty is reduce her ammo. Reduce her damage down to, I forgot what it is right now. I think it's like 520. Reduce it down to like 500. Or either that or just nerf her ammo clip. I think right now it's 6. Nerf it down to 4 or 5. That's what they really need to do. She's so annoying to go against. Like, she's really fun to play, but man, I just hate playing against Salty. And it doesn't help that they buffed Illuminate now, so it's even more difficult to buy Illuminate. So they increased the price of Illuminate, so now you can't buy a tier 2 out of spawn. You can only buy a tier 1. So you have to wait longer into the game to buy a tier 3, and it costs way more credits. It's $5.75 for a tier 3 of Illuminate now. So technically she got buffed again. Really questionable, y'all. Really questionable. I just don't understand. You want to win, pick Salty. If she ain't banned, pick her. She just destroys. She's garbage. She's just crazy right now. Saris. A+ tier. Really solid support right now. She's not on the level of like a Furia or an Io, but I think she's really good. Ever since she got reworked last patch, I think she's been really good, really consistent. Suns are really annoying, really spammable ult that's really good heals, really good survivability. She's just overall like kind of what you want out of a support, but if she just had more consistent damage, she's kind of the same boat as like Lilith. If she had a little bit more consistent damage, she would be a little bit better, but that's the only thing she's kind of lacking. But apart from that, she does everything else really good. Shaolin got nerfed this patch for whatever reason. He's never been really good on console. If you're a Shaolin god on console, go ahead and play him, but you just don't see him played at all. He's more of a PC character, and half the time I even forget Shaolin's even a character in this game because just nobody even plays him. I don't even realize that he's a character half the time, and he's even in the game, so, which is really sad. I just wish they would buff him to make him better on console, but if you would do that, then he would just be absolutely broken, busted on PC, which makes sense. It's really sad, though. Sky. Man, I think I had Sky like an A+. You guys want to know what changed with Sky this patch? Like I said, Illuminate got buffed, so now you can only buy a tier 1 out of spawn. And they buffed Sky, y'all. They gave her a little bit less damage fall off at medium ranges. So she does more consistent damage now at medium ranges. And it's more difficult to stack Illuminate. Ding, ding, ding. Sky moving up. Ban-worthy. She's ban-worthy every single game. She is so difficult to play against. She shits damage, and she's so difficult to play against. Especially in your solo queue games. Maybe not as much if you're in a 5-stack or like a 3 or 4-stack. You can maybe coordinate to take her down, but you have to have your entire team going after her. Or you have to pick a check to her, which there aren't really many checks. I guess maybe Vivian, and the one check I've actually find that actually works really well versus her is Hunting Party Tyra. Apart from that, there really ain't much that really checks her. That's like 100% like a legit check to that can actually like lock her down and make it so your team can actually target her. Especially if you're just solo queuing. I don't know. You're going to want to ban her like every single game. She's crazy. She's just so annoying to play against. Her damage numbers are great. Her ult can be hit or miss, but it just depends on the player. But even then, like her entire base game, just what she does. And what she really is as a flank is just the main problem. And then you give her higher damage numbers, and you make it more difficult to buy Illuminate. So that's just on top of that, just makes her better. Oh, man. I mean, they reworked Preparation too, but Preparation is worse than it is. That's why I'm not talking about that. It's somehow they reworked another talent, and it's worse than what it was before. So, what a surprise. Good one there, Hi-Rez. Next, we got Strix. F tier, garbage. I think they actually didn't they nerf Strix again? I think they nerfed Strix again last patch too. It's garbage. One of the worst characters in the game. The only map you're going to be picking Strix on is maybe Frog Isle and maybe Fish Market. Even then, like, I wouldn't even bother picking him. Like, he's at the point where it's just not even worth picking a sniper. The snipers are some of the worst champions in the game now after this patch, to the point where I think if they want to give us a new damage champion, why don't they just give us a new sniper champion? They love giving us new champions and new damage and flank champions. Why don't they just give us a new sniper now? Clearly, Strix and Kanessa isn't what they wanted for the game. Why don't they create a brand new champion and give us a brand new sniper? There we go. I don't know, garbage. Don't play Strix. You'll lose your game, especially on any map that isn't Frog Isle or Fish Market. Talus, A+ tier. Kind of in the similar boat that he falls off in your higher tiers, but like in your mid-tier games, he's always a ban. I just can't put him higher in like the ban-worthy tier because he does fall off really harshly, like once you get like above Platinum 1 into your Diamond tier games. But apart from that, like you're going to be banning him in the majority of your games, and if he's not banned, you're going to pick him, and you kind of just pub stomp your games. He's kind of a pub stomper, similar to Koga. Kind of in that tier again. Term, ban-worthy. Gonna ban him every single game. If he somehow gets through, you pick Nimble out of spawn and you just run at people. There you go. That's how you play Terminus. There you go. Nothing with him has changed since last patch. Tiberius. It's funny, Tiberius actually got buffed this patch as well, and I think he's somehow worse. I don't know what it is with Tiberius, but I think that he's just completely fallen off. Ever since he got nerfed last year, I think it was around the same time last year during the mid-season patch for Season 4, he got his fire rate nerfed during combat trance, and then he got some of his cards, his healing cards, nerfed pretty harshly. He's never been the same. Mr. Tiger is a former shell of himself. He really is. Gosh dang, is he really bad? Like, you can get away with him, but like, there's just no reason to play him. Why would I play Tiberius over a Mani or like a Cassie as a projectile champion? There just is no reason to, at all. He doesn't do enough damage, and then the only time you can do damage is during combat trance, which is for like 5 seconds. Apart from that, you just don't do damage. Like, his damage just isn't enough. He just lacks damage as a damage champion, and that's not what you want. Torvald, here's another situation where I can't even tell if they're even that good this patch, because Torvald, if you guys don't know, Torvald was supposed to have Guardian actually affect his shields this patch. But as like Grover, it was bugged and it got thrown right into the game. So if you guys don't know what happens now, there's actually a visual bug now. Like when you buy Guardian, it won't do anything to your shields. Your shield health will stay the same, but like the number like of shield you have on like your shield bar will change for whatever reason. But you'll still have the same amount of shield. So it's bugged. Another bug that was a clear bug in the PTS for 2 months got just shipped out and sent right to the live patch, similar to what I talked about earlier with Grover. So I can't even tell if Torvald's really good, because the one change he got was able to buy Guardian this patch, which I think would have been better. So if he was able to, I would have put him a little bit higher, but since he's bugged, he's the same as last patch, so I can't put him any higher. I just don't think he's that good too. Like, unless you're in a 5-stack and you can coordinate with a Torvald, I just don't think he's that good in your solo games. He's more of one of those champions that you can just put in with your 5-stack. You know who your DPS are, you know who your team is, and you know how they play. You can just pocket them and let them carry the game and just steamroll and stomp a game. If the game goes longer than 10 minutes, you're pretty much useless. That's the real problem with him as well. He might have been a little bit better if Guardian would actually work, but like I said, he's bugged, so I can't get a good accurate representation and accurate like placement on this list if I can't play a champion if they're bugged and nothing changes. So same as last patch, at least up until right now. Maybe it's changed. I don't know. It'll change depending when you're seeing this. Tyra got her damage buff. Tyra's crazy. I'm putting Tyra at an S tier. There we go. She's really good right now. Tyra is really good. I actually think she has 3 viable talents, because Sky and Sati are being played so much right now to where I've actually been picking Tyra as like a counter pick into both of those and just running like hunting party for both of those, so my team can track down the Sky and the Sati the majority of the game and just hard focus both of those. So I think she might actually even be better than an S tier and like a really good counter pick to some of the really top tier stuff right now as well. Mainly Sky and Sati, and I guess maybe Lex too sometimes. And maybe a few of the other flanks like 7, which we'll talk about as well, with Hunting Party, which I think is actually really underrated. But if you guys want a really solid check to the 7, Sati, and Sky, Hunting Party Tyra might be really slept on right now. I think it's really underrated and it actually works really well. At least from what I've been doing and experimenting and trying out so far. Especially with Illuminate getting buffed and costing a lot more. You just get a lot more value out of just running Hunting Party and just having your team constantly hard focus them when they're marked. They can't go invisible and they can't run away. Apart from that, same old Tyra, though. She just does more damage. She does more damage this patch, and she's a really good counter pick into a lot of the higher tier stuff and other stuff being played right now. Vatu, B tier. More of a PC champion. That's kind of why, like, similar as last patch. More of a PC champion. Nothing really changed with Vatu. Nothing at all. Let's talk about 7. Let's talk about 7. I think 7's a ban. I think 7 is sometimes a ban. He's arguably, I think he's an S tier, but like he is a ban. Like if you're gonna ban any other flank apart from Sky or Lex, you're gonna be banning 7. 7 is crazy. If you guys don't know what happened with 7, pretty much what they did is they made it so you can shoot his grenades now. So which is something we've been wanting for the last 3 months, and we finally got it this patch. So you can shoot his grenades, so that you can't just have to sit and wait for him to disappear or just walk through them until they disappear or leave. They buffed his mobility, so he has more air control in the sky now. It's easier to control him with his grappling hook in the sky. They buffed the damage on his automatic, and they buffed the damage on his burst again slightly. So he got more damage this patch, and his mobility got better, and Illuminate got buffed, so it's more difficult to actually stack Illuminate into him now, which is one of his other checks. Crazy. 7 is crazy right now, y'all. If you guys are not playing 7, he is probably the most slept on flank right now at all, like the entire game. Crazy. Crazy damage numbers, and if I'm being honest with you guys, I think it's the most annoying champion I think Hi-Rez has ever created. There's just something about being pulled with a grappling hook and being pulled across the map with your back turned that just fucking irks the shit out of me. It's so annoying. One thing they need to do with 7 is revert the damage number changes they gave him this patch and make it so you can't pull squishy characters with your grapple and pull them halfway across the map with your grappling hook. That shit needs to fucking go, and it is one of the most toxic, cancerous things they've ever added to any champion they've ever created. And I'll stick beside that the entire time until that ever gets removed. He is no fun to play against. He is so difficult to play against and so annoying. And that is the reason why I think he's worth a ban most times as well. You don't see him played that much, but I'm sure after I throw this list up, there'll be a lot more people playing him as well. Or at least trying him in ranked games. And I guarantee you guys, learn how to play him at least to an average level, and you're just going to stomp your games. We're so difficult to lock down to, just with all the mobility he has. Just run spring loaded, and just run like a mobility type build, and just float around and fly around the map the entire game, and pull people with your grapple and like two-shot them in like 3 seconds. That's all you need to do. Just kill everybody apart from the tanks, and then when their entire team is dead, then focus the tanks. That's all you need to do. Kill their entire team, and then when the tanks are just there, then go after them. It's pretty much 101 of 7 right there. Because of how much damage you're actually doing now. And how difficult he is to lock down. What else we got next? Oh, whoops. Why it's doing that. Why did it do that? I don't know what that is. Victor going S tier. Victor got buffed. They buffed his damage, I think, by 10 or 20 this patch. He shreds. I don't know why they even touched Victor. Like, Victor was one of the most balanced DPS in the game, and then they go and randomly buff his damage numbers this patch. Does that make any sense? Victor shreds, y'all. I don't know if you guys have been playing Victor this patch, but he just fucking shreds. It is difficult to play into him now. Like, even last patch, he was always been, like, the average, like, hit scan in the game, but, like, now it's overboard. They need to revert. I think this next patch, they need to revert the damage buffs. I think they revert it back to what it was. He just shreds. You don't even need burst mode. Like, just play cardio or play shrapnel, and, like, any of those, just run around or just throw grenades the entire game and burst people down and just shred people. He just does so much damage. It's crazy. Like, he isn't impossible to kill. Like, that's why I'm not putting him at, like, a ban tier worthy. But, like, the amount of damage he just shits out now is just crazy. He just shreds. It's honestly nuts. It really is. Vivian, I want to put Vivian higher, but, like, at the same time, she just doesn't do anything. She's better than Tiberius now, I think. I'm going to put her at, like, a B tier. I think the only way you actually pick Vivian is if you pick her as, like, a counter pick to, like, the invisible stealth characters. Like 7, Sky, and Solitude, but like even then, like they all shit on you. So, like you can try to pick her as like a counter pick just because she has a built-in reveal into her kits and play it with like a reveal type build for those characters. But like all of them still shit on you. 7 shits on you. Sky still just walks up to you and just shits on you if you don't have a shield. And then Solitude waits for your shield to disappear and just walks up to you and drop kicks you and kills you in 2 shots. So I don't know. I think she just still needs like an entire rework or like some major buffs. I don't know what they need to do with Vivian, but she's never been good. She was good back like 2 years ago, and they nerfed her to the ground. She's never been the same ever since. The only time she actually does damage too is if she has an ult. Like if she doesn't have an ult, she just doesn't do enough damage. That's another real problem she has. Vora got nerfed yet again, guys. She got nerfed again this patch. She got a new skin, Ruby Rose Thanatos, or not Thanatos, Ruby Rose Vora. I'm thinking of Smite. I mean, it doesn't really matter. They're both the same skins from Smite anyways. All the Ruby skins this patch for this game are all the same ones they had in Smite 2 years ago. So technically the same things anyways. Put Vora in A tier. I think she's just average. I think the one thing that with Vora that's really lacking is her damage numbers. Like, she has good mobility, but like her damage numbers just aren't good enough compared to a lot of the other flanks right now. Like, if you're cracked with Vora and you know how to play her, you can get away with her, but that's the only way you're really going to be playing her. There's not really much reason to really play her this patch. She just kind of struggles because she has low damage numbers, and for whatever reason, she just keeps getting nerfed for no reason. I don't know. She's gotten nerfed like 3 times now over the last couple patches. I just don't know why. Willow, B tier. Actually, I'm going to put Willow lower because all the hit scan, all the shit that she actually struggles into also got buffed this patch. I think she's actually probably worse. You can maybe say D tier now, but I'm going to be generous and put her at a C tier. Nothing with her has changed at all. She needs some major buffs. Like, I feel bad for her. I really do. I want Willow to be good and actually be played, but you just never see her, and she just gets shredded and shit on by everything. Especially a lot of the more top tier picks like Leon, Tyra, Victor, Andro, Seven, Lex, everything up there just destroys her, unfortunately. Jagrith, I think Jagrith's actually better this patch. I think Jagrith is an A+ tier this patch just because Solar Blessing Furia got buffed, which by default makes Jagrith a lot better in those type of comps. If you want to run Jagrith, I think you pick either Ceres or Solar Blessing Furia, and you can actually work really, really well. And I've been finding, at least from what I've tested and been playing so far, it works really, really good now, and even better than last patch. So apart from that, like, you got to play her into teams that don't have a bunch of checks. Like Tyra, checks are really good. Sky is almost on every team, which she kind of struggles into, and there's a few other things, but if you can play her into a team and you know how to play her, you know what you're doing, and you kind of build a team around her, at least support-wise, with the supports that can pocket her and keep her full on health, she can do really good. Ying got buffed this patch. You don't even see her. You don't even see Ying. I think she's A tier still. She got buffed to the point where now Life Exchange actually has a 0.5 second cooldown now. If you miss, you still don't see it. The problem with Ying is I think they need to rework all her damage talents, because everybody that plays Ying doesn't even play Ying as a support. They play her as like a fucking damage character. And that's the real problem with Ying. Get rid of Elucidatory Mirror and whatever the extra damage mirror talent is, and get rid of Renaissance. Remove those 2 talents from the game, or rework them entirely into like other type of healing talents, or bring back Lifelike, which was a talent that got removed like a couple years ago. Bring that talent back, and then rework one of the other talents. That's what she really needs now. She got buffed, and she's still pretty much the same. Nothing with her has changed. Kind of still an alt bot, or just people pick her as a solo support and then throw your games, because they play damage Ying, and then you have no heals the entire time. That's pretty much what Ying is. Which sucks, but that's the harsh reality of what it is. She needs her talent, 2 of her damage talents to be removed and entirely reworked until she gets to be any good. Because people just keep playing her as a damage champion, and they don't know how to play her as a support. And the people that do play her as a support are just pretty much alt bots, and that's all it really is. Kind of just average, though. Xin. I think Zin's worse this patch. I think there's way better shit to play. Way better stuff. I think it's the first time I put Xin below like an A+ tier. I think she's only A tier. There's just way better stuff to play. Like, Yomi's still good, and Guillotine's still good, but Smolder's garbage. I played Smolder a couple times. It's really bad now. He has a card that used to be like it was killing blows on your, you get like a 75% reset on your Smolder. That got changed to Elims, and he's somehow even worse. I think the real problem is there's just so many better things right now that you can play apart from Xin. Like, why would I play Xin over Andro, Maeve, even like Koga or like Lex or Seven? There just is no reason. That's the real problem. I wouldn't say he needs to be buffed, but I think he's just gonna stay there until the point that he actually just. I think some of the other stuff either gets nerfed or like changed. I don't know. And not to mention too, like a lot of the other champions too build lethality, like Victor, Tyra, like a lot of the other DPS champions that really don't have much mobility as well. They got a brand new item, which gives them movement speed. So that Zin doesn't really have that much mobility, so it's kind of a little bit more difficult to lock those type of champions down. So I don't know. Apart from that, that's the list, y'all. Here's the list. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Do you guys agree with anything? Like I said, 100% opinionated. Leave your guys' own list down in the comments down below. If there's something I forgot to mention or talk about, let me know. If you guys enjoyed and you guys want me to continue doing these types of videos, leave a like, subscribe, share the video. Always a pleasure doing these types of videos. Really enjoy doing them, so hopefully you guys enjoyed. Got a lot of other stuff planned as well, so if you happen to be new or if it's first time finding my channel, finding my stuff, feel free to subscribe down below. Would really appreciate it. Got a lot of stuff planned. We stream Paladins like 2 or 3 times a week. We stream Apex Legends. We're going to be streaming Splatoon 3 and Overwatch 2 here in the next couple months. A few other things planned as well. So if that stuff you guys like, feel free to stop by and subscribe and keep up with the channel. Apart from that, I'm going to get out of here. Thanks for stopping by, and I'll see you guys in a future video.